Fish are friends, not food.
I'm a little worried about Rob.
Yes, it's happening.
Ever since we tried to summon Cthulhu, he hasn't been the same.
I'm growing gills. Gills! My transformation into a deep one has finally begun.
Rob, we don't see any gills.
It's these kids getting involved in all this stuff causes them to go crazy.
I think I feel the webbing starting to grow between my fingers.
Welcome to Dinner and a Board Game, a new actual play show about friends, good food, and lots of fun at the gaming table. We're your hosts, Megan and Heath. Each night, I'll invite the gaming group over to my house to cook dinner, sample drinks, and play a board game on one of our customized board game boards. Dinner and a Board Game is an actual play show where you'll be able to watch the game from start to finish with gameplay dashboards and graphics that help track the turns and allow everyone to follow the game's action. We'll play games like Zombicide, Black Plague, Descent, Journeys in the Dark, Small World, Unearthed, and Terraforming Mars. We'll even be joined by special guests such as Lou Anders, J.F. Lewis, and cosmic horror artist David LaRocca. The show is free to watch on YouTube. Just come by my channel, Heath Robinson, and be sure to subscribe. Click Watch Now to start the first episode and join us for fun-filled evenings of Dinner and a Board Game.
In his house in Rillier, Dead Cthulhu waits streaming.
You ever played D&D before?
No. What kind of character do you play?
I play a cultist.
But you are a cultist.
I'm growing gills. Gills! My transformation into a deep one has finally begun. Father Dagon be praised.
Rob, we don't see any gills.
The coffee-drinking cultists who meet under the pavilion. I can bring them to you.
Did you not bring them to me within 3 days? Then you're back on the menu. Got it?
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
It's the cultists of the Yellow King. We're being infiltrated.
I need a spell to kill Steve.
That escalated.
Kill! What happened? They'll fall fast asleep, and I'll take them to the cult of Shub.
Were you trying to slip us a Mickey?
As soon as I learn this spell, you are done for.
It's like Twilight, but with a fish.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This was kind of a late-breaking idea for having a watch party for the Cultists Season 1. And let's see here. Davron, howdy. Welcome to everyone who is here. The Cultist Season 2 is going to premiere next week. The first episode is going to premiere next week, Friday night, basically this time in 1 week. And so I had this idea that I know there are some people who have not caught up with the Cultist Season 1 yet, and we should just do a watch party here on the live stream. And this live stream is going to be different from many other live streams that you might have seen, which are watch parties, because we're actually going to be able to watch the show during the stream, because I know there are a lot of people who are there, if they're doing a watch party, when they're trying to watch, a Marvel movie or a Marvel TV show or something like that. Of course, you can't show that on the stream because you get copyright strike. Well, so you have to watch it on a TV show and everybody has to synchronize on a separate TV. But, this time, hey, it's my show, so I'm going to be able to watch it live actually on the stream. And of course, there are all 10 episodes of Season 1 on the channel right now. But what I figured we'd do is watch a couple of episodes, and then, I can do take questions or comments and things like that after every couple of different episodes. So there are 10 episodes in Season 1. The total runtime for Season 1 is right at 60 minutes. So, on average, each episode's about 6 minutes apiece. So, some of them are as short as 4 minutes. But I figure we'll just be able to watch them and then have comments after every couple of episodes. I'm extremely happy with the way the Cultists has been going. When I started this idea of let's try to shoot a web show I just thought that we were all going to be shooting it on our phones. All of the people who are going to be involved were just going to be our friends. And everything the Cultist has become has grown from there. I wanted to be able to set up a structure with the Cultists and also dinner and a board game, which you may have seen in the intro to this. Like, how do I teach everyone here around me? I'm in rural Alabama, but I'm pretty close to Birmingham, Alabama. How do I set up a structure to teach myself and everyone around me what we need to be able to learn in order to actually produce web shows like this? And so, there were people who wanted to be part of it. I wanted to be a writer and producer. My friend Brianna came down to stay with me for a while. She wanted to be a writer and director, so she directed it. I had another friend who wanted to be a director of photography, so he's the one who shot it. Other friends who wanted to do costuming and things like that. So we all got together and we just started to shoot this. And then, we've done season 1, we've done season 2. We would love to be able to do a season 3 if there is enough interest and all of that. Oh, I appreciate the sound quality. Thank you. That's something that we have been working on quite a bit. So, of course, here, but then also with the Cultists as well. So thank you, everyone who is here. We have a super chat here. Remus says, love both seasons of the Cultists. I laughed so hard at the show. Hype for a third season. I hope a third season comes. Me too. So, we've got shows that we want to be able to do, right? And so we thought that the Cultist was the kind of show that we would actually be able to accomplish. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat, by the way. That's really appreciated. We hope that we'll be able to do more because we learned so much from season 1. We got so much better in season 2. I think we'll be so much better in season 3. The kinds of things that I want to do as far as fantasy shows, and also Brianna. I wish she were here with me tonight. She had to work. That Brianna wants to do as far as fantasy shows. We thought that we needed more time, in order to practice, in order to do like really nice, like fantasy shows that have battles and costuming and everything like that. So that's why we said we're going to do Cultist season 1, and then we did Cultist season 2, and it's so much better in every way than Cultist the season 1. We're watching season 1 tonight. Season 2, I'm so proud of. If we do get to do a season 3, it's going to be even better, and then we would be off to being able to do higher quality independent fantasy shows and things like that. That we want to do. I don't want to talk too much about that, but that was kind of the plan. All right. Let's go ahead, I suppose, and start the show. We'll do the first 2 episodes, and then I'll come back and I will check what type of questions or things like that. So if you've got questions, please drop them in the chat. No reason, I don't think, to see me during the show. I'll go ahead and just go full screen with the Cultists season 1, and we'll do a couple of episodes. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Please, hit the like button and all of that. And if you have questions, let me know. We can talk behind the scenes stuff and all of that. All right, so let's.
Life around the house has been difficult lately. Our son, Mike, has gotten involved in some things. And there have been a lot of questions about exactly what God he worships. It's causing a lot of tension in the family. For his birthday, I wanted to do something special for him, to connect with him. And so I made him this birthday cake. But apparently it was all wrong. Happy birthday!
Mom, I don't worship Father Dagon. Dave and Rob worship Dagon. I worship Yog-Sothoth. No one gets me. No one listens to me. No one. If they did, they would know that I don't worship Dagon. Sure, I've been over to Rob's house while he's performing some of Dagon's rites. Helped out a bit. Never hurts. But I worship Yog-Sothoth.
You see, it seems like which god he worships changes every month. It is all very confusing. I am concerned about Mike's future. We've sacrificed a lot for him.
Ha! Sacrifice? You don't know the first thing about sacrifices, Mom. I'm the only one who's sacrificed anything around here.
We just want what's best for you, honey.
If you really cared about my future, then you'd let me sacrifice my little sister.
No, honey.
You have no concept of the blessings that the elder gods bestow upon me and this house.
You could become a doctor or a lawyer.
No, Mom. I'm not going to college. My researches are too important. And if you just let me dig up Grandpa...
I better not see you and your shovel within 100 feet of your grandfather's grave. Wouldn't you rather go to a football game with your friends instead?
None of my friends are going to the football game, Mom. The elder gods do not concern themselves with pigskin. Besides, I gotta save money.
What for?
You know what for, Mom? I've been talking about it forever. My plane ticket to Transylvania, there's this baron over there that I really want to study with. It'll be so much better than college. I vigorously pursue knowledge. See, my mind is a vessel. One day I will meet with Yog-Sothoth and join with them, and when I do, I'll give him my brain and all the knowledge that it contains.
If you are so big on accumulating knowledge, you could start by doing your algebra homework.
No, Mom. That won't help. Yog-Sothoth already knows algebra. I've learned something better than that.
If he knows algebra so well, why is he letting his top disciple fail algebra? Again. Can you explain that?
It's been rough lately. I mean, I've been a cultist of Yog-Sothoth for a while now, but I got to thinking maybe Mom's right. I mean, I give so much to Yog-Sothoth, and what has he done for me lately? I mean, I perform his rituals, I read his rites. Hell, I even sacrificed that Care Bear. And I still failed the hell out of that math test. God. But when I was walking home, there it was. It was foggy, and I got to thinking, foggy, fog, mist! Someone or something is calling out for me. The nameless mist. I caught some in a jar so that it can stay with me forever. Now I'm all about some nameless mist.
I just want him to be normal. I want him to have normal friends. I'm worried about his future. I thought maybe if he gets a job, that'll be good for him. Meet new people, discover new interests. But
I had a job. I started Cultist Lawn Care. No one would hire me. No one wanted me working in their lawn in my robe. I have to wear it. I'm in a cult. It's freedom of religion. I'm being oppressed. I'm filing a lawsuit.
What is this? Did you do this?
I thought it was a nice name.
This is not a joke. You can't name the nameless mist. Your time for sacrifice has come.
Mom! Mommy's trying to sacrifice me again!
Mike! Stay away from your sister!
It's a sign. Yog-Sothoth, please, I'm sorry for abandoning you. Please take me back.
I thought it was just a phase. He went through an anime phase, a ghost hunting phase, a coin trick phase. I thought it would be just like that. But I'm afraid this is my life now. And I am out of my depth. I am out of my depth.
Yog-Sothoth, Astermon,
Antarte. Yog-Sothoth is the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the key. Yog-Sothoth is the guardian of the gate.
Dinner's ready.
Past, present, future. All are one in Yog-Sothoth. He knows when the old ones broke through of old, and he knows when they shall break through again.
Time for dinner.
Yog-Sothoth, Astermon, Antarte.
Hey, did you hear me? It is time for dinner.
Mom! I'm trying to commune with Yog-Sothoth here.
Yog-Sothoth has been trapped outside time and space for 10 millennia, son. He can wait until after dinner.
But I'll have to start over. And I've already used all my spell components.
You know better than to start these long and involved rituals right before dinner. Come on now. You know, I don't really think too much about it. I know a lot of guys his age get involved with Yog-Sothoth and Cthulhu. Hell, I sure did.
Don't wear your hood at the table.
Where's Bella?
She is at a friend's house.
So she can skip dinner to be with her friend, but I can't skip dinner to be with Yog-Sothoth. Yog-Sothoth's my friend.
Let's ask the blessing.
Yog-Sothoth, Astermon,
Lord, thank you for this food. Please bless it to the nourishment of our bodies, and our bodies to thy service. Amen. Honey, where's the salt?
I used it in my ritual.
Your fish friend is here.
Rob here, of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. I've been a cultist ever since I was first able to speak the first oath of Dagon to the darkness beyond my crib. But I do want to clear up some confusion. There are a lot of people out there who think that I'm part fish. That is not true. Yet. Every morning I check the mirror to see if I'm developing any fish-like qualities. I hope I am. I've done extensive research into my ancestry, and I can't find out who my great-great-grandmother is. I hope that she is a deep one, at the bottom of the sea, calling me home. But for now, I'll just have to wear a fish.
Necromancy has gotten such a bad rap. When you think about it, what could be more important? Tonight, Rob and I are going to try to raise a body.
If we can bring back the dead, I'm going to raise a whole school of undead fish.
What are you doing with that shovel? What did I tell you about your grandfather's grave?
But I can bring him back.
I don't care. Just let your grandfather stay dead. He will like it better that way. Why don't you two come into the kitchen? Rob, how about some sweet tea? I just made a batch.
Fish do not drink tea.
We're just going to worship at Rob's place, Mom.
Fine. Just don't be out late. Even cultists have school in the morning.
She'll come around. When I bring back the dead, everything will change. Do you have a shovel at your place?
Fish do not use shovels.
Okay. I have an idea.
So, how are we going to dig up the body?
Well, if we do this right, it'll dig itself up.
So this is where your grandfather's buried.
No, this is someone else's grandfather.
Why are we digging up someone else's grandfather?
Mom didn't say don't dig up someone else.
Oh, Oh, yeah. Nice. I got this from Dave. He says it helps him communicate with the dead.
Dave communicates with the dead? How have I never heard about this?
You want to try it?
Let's do it. What is that? Oh.
Oh my God, Mike. I've never seen the world this way before.
You're about to see something you've never seen ever. For there be diverse sorts of death, some wherein the body remaineth, and in some it vanisheth quite away with the spirit.
Wait, what incantation is that?
Rob, you're distracting me.
Okay.
Sometimes, as verily attested, it dieth within the body, but after a season is raised up again in the place where the body did decay.
Now what?
Shh. I think I hear something.
Yellow sign. Oh, God. I think you've opened a door to Carcosa. What? Did I use the wrong chant? Mike, I see our 8th grade English teacher. No, it's a giant snake. Yeah, it's Mrs. Cartland. Let's get out of here. Ah!
My first necromancy trial had some small hiccups, but I'm sure we'll get it right next time.
All right, that was the first 2 episodes. So we can talk about a couple of things. I've got some comments I'd like to address that have been in the chat. But, you know, one of the things that I had talked about behind the scenes was finding the house that became Mike's house, where Mike and his family live. You know, I was trying to find a house where you can shoot something, and that's actually a lot harder than you might think, because, you know, you're talking about bringing a film crew, even an amateur film crew in the case of season 1 here, to the house, and that's a lot to ask for people. And also, of course, I'm here in rural Alabama, and the people who would also be willing to have somebody shoot some kind of show about cultists in their house was also not very great. So, you know, I had friends and I was like, hey, we're going to be shooting this show about the cultists. But of course, they didn't quite understand that it's a comedy and that we're not actually worshiping some dark god or something like that. And so even friends, it was difficult to shoot at their house. Now, of course, I have my house here, but as you can see behind me, and I've got to put up some other videos about renovating my house. You know, I renovated my house to be the set for dinner and a board game. And so my house looks like a medieval tavern in my kitchen. And I've got the board game room that looks like a dungeon. So we couldn't shoot it at my house because my house doesn't look like something that like mom would, you know, mom and dad would live in. So eventually we found a Airbnb who said, hey, yeah, you can shoot it here. So we rented an Airbnb in order to be able to shoot that, all the house sequences for Mike. Cultist lawn care. Check this out right here. You know, I was trying to come up with different, like merchandise or different items for the cultists. And one of the things that I had thought about was the cultist lawn care hat. And this is the actual hat that was worn by Mike in the show. And this is one of the ones that, you know, I made. I just got a green hat. And then I made this with some type of paint or something that was on the hat. And I thought, hey, it would be really cool to be able to have cultist lawn care hats. And I looked for quite a while in order to have this, but it turns out that the cultist lawn care symbol that I made for this hat is actually too large for hat companies to print. So I tried that quite a bit in order to get cultist lawn care hats, but I was never able to do that. So speaking of different things as far as like merchandise goes, I do want to say that our website is ravenkeep.net. You know, this is Ravenkeep Productions that produces all of this. but ravenkeep.net is where I keep all of the products that I create for tabletop games and board games, but also have to do with the cultists. So we've got the pre-orders for Terra Tiles. You may have seen that on the YouTube channel as well. Excuse me. But then when you go down here, fish do not drink tea. You heard that. Fish do not drink tea. That mug is here on ravenkeep.net. Witches Brew and Cultist Coffee, their mugs, as well as the actual coffee themselves, are up on ravenkeep.net. And so, I've thought about doing some kind of Patreon thing or something like that, and that may still come, because I really like for everybody to be able to have a place where they can be a community about what we're doing. But, everything, and by the way, I've been thinking about that, so that may come, some type of forum or something like that for people to discuss. But really, ravenkeep.net is where I had put all of the different things that we created for the cultists, which are primarily the mugs and the coffee right now. Let me take this down. Let's see. Schedule under. What was I talking about this? Oh, yeah. When Rob is talking about, he hopes that if they're able to successfully do necromancy, he's going to be able to bring to life a whole school of undead fish. That was completely ad-libbed line on Dax's part. And yes, people were talking about how much they like Rob. Dax played Rob fantastic. And you've probably seen Dax in other shows here, because he's on General Geekdom, which is our panel show. Dax has been here talking about different things on General Geekdom. He does a fantastic job. And I remember when he auditioned for the part of Rob, and it was fantastic because he was running a little bit late to the audition. And he came in and he said, I'm here to audition for Rob, and just give me just a moment, because he was like, I don't remember why he was late, but there was some kind of situation where he was running in right at the last minute. And he said, just give me a moment here to collect my thoughts. And so Brianna and I were watching, because Brianna's the director, and of course I was the producer. And so we were there at the auditions, and Dax was sitting there, and he just stopped, and he just completely, mellowed for several seconds and just sat there, closed his eyes, and just chilled. And we were watching him. And then he started reading the lines, or giving the lines for Rob. And at that moment, he became Rob. And we was like instantly, okay, he's got to be Rob. It was so fantastic. He did such an amazing job with that. When they're raising the dead, I did that in my backyard. That's my backyard. It was so cold when we did that. And, the night scenes are actually very difficult. I didn't realize how difficult night scenes were when we were writing that. But we had to, run electrical lines all the way down into the backyard, deep into the backyard, because there's no electricity, obviously, in the middle of the backyard. I got about an acre here. And then, we had to get the lights up, and then had them sit there at those, at that tombstone, which we made out of styrofoam, and it stayed in my backyard for a long time. Eventually it fell over, but I told my nephews that, I had somebody who was buried in my backyard, and that sometimes their family would come and leave flowers at the grave because it's like their uncle or something in my backyard. And of course my nephews believed that, but then later I told them, no, it's not true. It's just a styrofoam tombstone. Okay, so let me go and address some of the things right here. Naming the Nameless Mist. Yeah, it wasn't quite sure. It wasn't quite as easy to read what name was given to the Nameless Mist on during the show, but that was Matilda, because naming the Nameless Mist. If you don't know, I have done very serious Cthulhu stuff, and that was Journey to the Tree of Sorrows. I wrote an RPG that was very serious Cthulhu stuff, and there's even a YouTube channel called Journey to the Tree of Sorrows for all the very serious Cthulhu stuff that I had written, and lore and things like that. But while you're writing serious stuff, you do come up with a bunch of other jokes. And so while I was writing the serious stuff, and a lot of that stuff hasn't been published yet, and it's to be published through Infinite Black, but I don't have I'm not part of Infinite Black anymore, so I don't know when they're going to be publishing it. So I don't know when the serious stuff is going to be published. But while you're writing all that serious stuff, I wrote all of the jokes that we came up with while we were writing that, and one of those was naming the Nameless Mist. So I kept a notebook of all the jokes I came up with while I was writing Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, and then I went to the bar one night, and I said, what, I should take all of these jokes that I have, and I should see if I could start putting them into scripts. And so Matilda, being the name of the Nameless Mist, was one of the ones that I started with. The agent says, I think this has potential. The episode where they were afraid of the yellow. Yes, that episode's coming. The Afraid of the Yellow is one of the episodes that a lot of people on the cast and crew thought was the best episode of episode 1. I think it's episode number 6. I think it's coming up here. So we will see that. Well, now, what is Dad's relationship with Cthulhu? That's a great question there. We may get more information on that in this season or the next season. Yes. Let's see here. Anything else here? What are the large-eared figures over your right shoulder from? Oh, well, that's a little bit different from what we're talking about right now, but I will go ahead and address it. Like this guy and this guy right here. One of the things that I have been doing is, so thank you, SciPop. Thank you so much for the question. These are my action figures that I have been developing. I have been developing these action figures over the last year. These are advanced prototypes of the action figures for the Tales of Rabavania. And there is a Tales of Rabavania YouTube channel. There's one video over there right now, which is Goodnight Sword, which is an obvious takeoff of Goodnight Moon. But I am moving forward. I'm developing 2 fantasy worlds. One of them is for the Tales of Rabavania, which is about a world of medieval rabbits, and that one is more for like middle grade people and things like that. I want to create a very family-friendly fantasy world. The other one is Theophany. It's about the fall of Lucifer. I don't want to talk about either one of those too much right now, but these right here are my custom action figures, and I'm going to be bringing them out after and talking a lot more about them after the Cultists season 2 is here on YouTube, because we're going to be doing these on Kickstarter to see if we can do some action figures. And we also have, like, here is our raccoon warrior. This is our raccoon Huskarl right here. So those are action figures of my own design that I am trying to bring out and create for my own fantasy world. As an aside, that ritual game is right up my alley. Looking forward to it. I hope so. I think this is a good way to go, because it's very difficult to be able to do web shows. And I've talked about that with Paul Chatto of the Call Me Chatto channel, that, the golden age of the web show could be over. They're very difficult to do. Doing like 10 episode web shows, for a season like that is not something that YouTube promotes. YouTube promotes people who are making 2 or 3 videos a day. You have to be making lots of videos a day. And if you're doing something like a web show and you're trying to do something, a scripted show like that, well, you can't produce 2 a day, or something like that. So what is this show? This is The Cultists. The Cultists season 1. We've watched episode 1 and 2 of The Cultists season 1. It's our show about modern day Lovecraftian cultists just trying to worship Cthulhu in a world full of people who don't understand. Okay, thank you. David Bucky says, thank you. I will sub. Excellent. Season 1 is going on right now, and season 2 is going to be out next week. That's right. David Lynch would like those rabbits, I bet. All right. Well, I think it's time to go on and watch episodes 3 and 4 of The Cultists. So I'm going to bring that up right now, and we will watch. And if you have questions, put them in the live stream, and I will answer them, and we'll talk after 2 more episodes of The Cultists. Here we go.
Being a cultist around here is really free form, casual, low pressure. We got a lot of guys that worship different gods in their various ways, but we still try to get all the local cultists together, forges connections in the local cultist community. Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Cultists? Is that what they are? I thought they were some sort of drama club.
Yeah, I've seen those guys around. I've been thinking about joining a cult myself. Sometimes you've got to shake up your spiritual practices in order to get some results. But my wife would disown me. She's a Baptist and I'm a Methodist. She thinks that's a cult.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
Would we raise our kids Baptist or Methodist or in service to the elder gods? You see, it can never be.
Of course I checked again this morning. And I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
Oh, dude. Oh. What's up? I'm Dave. I'm a cultist. I'm down with Dagon, but I also do a little bit of casual Cthulhu worship here and there. I'm also in a band.
What are you doing? Oh, it's our secret cultist handshake.
Yeah. We made it last week. I was thinking we could teach it.
No.
Okay, so who else is coming?
This is all of us. All of us. This is just our gaming group. We do need to do more community outreach. Try and bring in some new blood.
Yes, but if no one else is coming, then let's just get to it.
What are we supposed to do?
The same thing we always do. Complain about how hard it is being in a cult to the only people who understand. How's the cult of Dagon going?
It's the esoteric order of Dagon.
Oh, right. Sorry. So, how is it?
About the same. We've never really recovered from the defeat of the Philistines.
Yeah, I know. It'll get better, though.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band, bro.
No! We've done our cultist meetup here too many times. This place is like sacred now. You can't mix cult life and band life, Dave. It's like sacrilege.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Come to hang out. Please, sit down.
No! No way! We can't just let some strange cultist show up.
Guys, please accept me. I have nothing else. I brought some snacks.
He's brought an offering.
Oh, all right. You can sit down.
So, what exactly is going on here?
I want to join the esoteric order of Dagon.
Oh my god! You're gonna need a bigger fish. Give me this.
Why?
You're just not ready for it yet.
Okay.
I am so glad to have been here. Now I have someone to take under my fin. I'm gonna teach him everything I know. If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
So does everyone here worship the old things?
There are no old things. My 6th grade gym sock, that's an old thing. It's elder thing. And they're the greater gods. The old ones.
Oh, I could totally worship the elder ones.
No. Again, there are no elder ones. Elder things and old ones. Basic cult stuff here.
Don't worry, dude. The old ones don't throw lightning bolts. You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. Cultist coffee? Yeah. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some. I like it here so far. It's just there aren't many girls. I thought there'd be girls here. That's my only criticism.
Ben has really jumped in and gotten his feet wet. He has done a lot of outreach. He found a couple of cults around town with a lot more girls in them, but I'm not really sure if we need that around here. But Mike says community is really important. Something about the cultist life being really hard for him when he's going at it alone. So we're here to meet the first cult today.
Where's Dave?
He said he's at band practice.
They're supposed to be here by now.
I don't like it.
How'd you get there?
Sorry if we surprised you. We're with the witch cult of Azathoth. I'm Shay.
Acantha, delighted.
Are you from like the 17th century?
What century is this again?
The 21st.
I'm from that one. They seem pretty new at this, but they're nice. I think they have the right heart.
I've never seen cultists like them before. Or smelled them either. What's with the fish?
The girls are weird. I like weird. Weird's cool. I'm glad Ben found him.
I'm not. So you're witches.
We are indeed.
Do you cast spells on people?
Yeah. Every full moon, we dance naked in the silver moonlight when we cast our spells.
Really?
No.
Oh.
So we are doing yoga in the park today. You're welcome to join.
Do our cults do yoga?
No, cults do not do yoga.
Well, ours does. There are warlocks in the witch cult of Azathoth. If you wanted to join.
Oh, okay.
No, he doesn't want to join that.
Well, suit yourself.
I'm in.
I bet Father Dagon will let me do a little yoga. I don't know why Rob thinks this is a big deal. These girls are amazing, and I think they like me.
I don't like him experimenting with other cults like this. Father Dagon has everything he needs.
Fish are not flexible.
Yes, they are.
They are.
They are?
You know about fish. Ben, more yoga. Down fish.
That's downward dog.
It is now downward fish.
I guess he can do more yoga if he wants. It will make him more flexible and fish-like.
I never done yoga before. I thought it's good to try something new. I was wrong. Oh, sometimes it's bad to try something new. Very bad.
All right, that was episode 3 and 4. So I've made some notes, and I also see people talking in the comments here. Now, there were 3 different people who showed up in episode 3 who you might or might not recognize, which is kind of like as a cameo. One of them was Brianna De Silva. Now, you may have also seen her on this channel as part of General Geekdom. She is the co-writer and she's also the director of the show. But she was one of the women, or she was the woman who showed up under the pavilion as like a casual observer of what was going on. So the director was in season 3, and she's actually has shot some behind the scenes director's commentary. I've already put out some videos on this channel for my producer's commentary, but she also shot complete director's commentary for season 1, and I'm going to be putting that out starting next week. So you can find on the channel right now my producer's commentary, but her director's commentary will be starting to come out next week. And yes, if you want to see Brianna, she did have a cameo in season 3, or excuse me, episode 3, and you may have also noticed that I had a cameo in episode 3. I was there as well. I played a character called Steve, And I was very glad to have done that because Steve is going to come out, reappear in season 2 and become a major character in season 2. You know, that scene where Rob says that he, of course he checked this morning and I still don't have gills, but, it's fine. But then he breaks down crying. That was thought up completely by Brianna and I as we were driving to the park that morning. And we were thinking, wait a minute, we could add the scene. So that actually wasn't something that was in the original scripts. Brianna and I wrote the original scripts, but we thought about this idea about Rob saying that he doesn't have gills. And so we basically thought that up on the way to the park that morning, and then we shot it right there. One of the things that was supposed to happen in the show was that everyone was supposed to be younger. When we originally conceptualized the show, everyone was like teenage, high school kind of ages. But as far as the casting went, that didn't work out. And so people are much older in the show than the teenage years were supposed to be. But I actually think that works out very well, because especially when you have Ben show up and he's like, I have nothing else. If he were like a 14-year-old kid or something like that, and he said that, you'd think, oh yeah, you're like 14 or 15 years old. You got your whole life ahead of you. Just plow forward. But when Glenn, Glenn shows up, who's obviously not 14. We've got like adults here, and he says, I've got nothing left. It makes you wonder what is actually going on with him that has caused him to join this cult. And so I think that's worked out very well. Let me go through some of the comments here. Yes, when Dave says that I'm in a band, now that's Jester Sky. Now, the theme song for the Cultists, which is at the end of every episode. We're the Cultists, and you also hear it in all of the trailers. That was written and performed by Jester Sky. So he's actually in a band in real life, and he performed that song for us. So we actually have, that's why we have an original Cultist song, is because Jester Sky is actually in real life in a band. Yes, the fish on his head, that's classic Rob. What are you going to get? And we did say that, yes, the pizza delivery guy, when he came to the park, I don't think understood. We're here in rural Alabama. That the pizza guy actually thought we were in some kind of cult or something like that. So as far as the plot goes, when we shot season 1, a lot of these early season 1 episodes are very episodic. And we shot them in that way because we kind of thought of them as sketches. When we originally conceptualized the show, we conceptualized it as individual sketches, kind of like each episode was a different sketch. And so that's how we had written it, and because we thought that's how it was going to be shot. But actually it ended up being the case that it was much easier to shoot the entire season as a whole, at one time. So that's what we did. Season 1 was shot at one time. Season 2 was shot at one time. All of them took about 2 weeks in order to shoot. Right here. So the early episodes of season 1 are rather episodic. We start to develop more of a continuous plot in the second half of season 1, and then season 2 is all one continuous plot. Let's see what else is here in the comments here. David Bucky says, OMG, the inside lore jokes are great. And, that's why that's one of the things that I really hope people appreciate about this show, because like I said, I got very deep into the Cthulhu mythos lore when I was writing stuff for Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, which is a very serious Lovecraftian story. I wrote a whole RPG manual for it. I got my Lovecraft books over here. I've got all kinds of notes in them, notes written in them, all kinds of highlights and things like that. So, when I was writing that, I got very deep into the serious side of the lore. Then all of the notes came up about all the jokes. So, I've done all of the serious side of things. So I'm hoping that everyone appreciates that, well, yes, this is definitely a comedic approach to the Cthulhu mythos, obviously. But it's done from the perspective of someone who has really done his research into the serious side of things and has written serious Cthulhu mythos stuff. Now, here is the comedic side of things. Because I do really appreciate taking things like the Cthulhu mythos seriously, and all of our different J.R.R. Tolkien. I've got a bunch of different stories over at Lord of the Rings, obviously, the Merlin trilogy, all of our different what am I trying to say here? Franchises and things like that, or IP, I believe in taking them seriously, but I don't believe in only taking them seriously. But after you've taken them seriously, you can afford to have a little bit of fun with them. So that's what we're trying to do here. I think, Reman said, I think Chris made some comments this week about the Cultists being great and more compelling than the Rings of Power. Well, that would be great. If the Cultists is more compelling than the Rings of Power, that would be fantastic. David says, when he said you need a bigger fish, you should have switched up Magcarp to Gyarados. I don't know, but he did get a bigger fish. When he shows up in season 3, he's got a very tiny orange and yellow fish, and so he did get upgraded to a larger fish in episode 4. It's not much bigger fish, but he did get upgraded, so that's an important part of that. These episodes are short, so be sure to stay for the bird bath scene. That will be sour cream and onion. Yes, the bird bath is great. David says, I'm hooked. Thank you. I'm so glad you are. I think it makes it funnier now the cast is older. I think it does too. You know, we tried to cast a very young person for Mike. And actually for a while, that person was cast and we were trying to get him. But the problem was, I think he was 15 years old. And so that would have been in the age group of the original casting. That, okay, he's going to be 15. But one of the problems was that he was over state lines. I'm here in Alabama. The guy was 15 and over in Georgia. And so as I'm the producer, I'm the one who's responsible for like dealing with, minors on set and things like that. It's much easier. It's much easier to just have, older people on set. But here we were going to have a minor. He was really enthusiastic about it. He really knew Charles Dexter Ward. He knew the Cthulhu mythos. He immediately identified Mike as the modern day Charles Dexter Ward because he had read all of that and he thought that was fantastic. And he really wanted to be part of it. But his parents were trying to get him to do some other thing that was going to get him to the Screen Actors Guild or something like that. So he was also very serious about being an actor. And then, I was going to have to go and get him as a minor crossing straight lines. And then like his mom was going to have to stay with him because he didn't know. He must have been 16. He must have been 16 because at 16, I actually had my driver's license. Like most people my age at 16, you have your driver's license. So I would have been able to drive over. But he was 16, but he didn't have a driver's license. So he couldn't just drive over. And I would have thought that would have been something really cool when I was 16. I was like, I'm going to get to drive over and I'm going to be part of this web show and I'm going to, shoot this show. That would have been really cool. But he couldn't drive himself. His parents would have had to drive him over and his parents wanted to have, a hotel room and all of this. And it just became way too big a deal in order to get him over. So we changed things up and then just had everybody kind of age up because it was the actor was playing Mike, Peter. He was actually playing Ben. And so when we didn't have this younger actor for Mike, we moved Peter over to Mike. And then we had Glenn who had auditioned. We said, hey, you can be Ben. So that worked out. I think it worked very well. Devrion says, thank you very much for doing this tonight. Enjoying it. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I really want people, obviously, to enjoy the kinds of things that we've been doing. And, I'm not really used to streaming myself as one person. So I hope I'm doing all right. And I hope everybody's enjoying it and having a good time. He says, Reman says, it's very authentic, which is what makes it funny. I'm a Lovecraft fanatic, so I appreciate what you have done here. Thank you. The Cultist is way more entertaining than the Rings show. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I'm a huge Tolkien fan, and I have been disappointed with Rings of Power, so I completely hear where you're coming from. Oh, yeah, it's a Pokemon joke. Okay. I think the older cast is good. It makes it like they tried other stuff and were exposed to other religions, and they decided they liked Dagon. Exactly.
So we're meeting the other cult today, but they want to meet close to the woods for some reason.
We missed you yesterday, Dave.
Oh yeah, sorry man.
Hi. You're the other cultists, right? I'm Carrie.
I'm Sherry.
We're the cult.
We know who you are.
Oh. Cool. You're from the,
Fertility cult of Shub-Nagorath, yes.
We're about to have a worship service. You should totally come.
Worshipping Shub, like...
Oh, yes.
Sounds dope. Well, Dagon mind if I worship two gods?
Actually,
Nah, I mean,
I used to be with all sorts of other gods. Just, will there be any yoga?
No.
Cool. I'm down.
I'm not. This smells fishy.
That's just you, Rob.
I'm out of here.
Just this way.
What is that?
The black goat of the woods with 1,000 young.
Where are the 1,000 young? Are they coming?
They will emerge.
Dude, this is hardcore.
Aya, Shemnagora! Hail the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young.
I don't know about this. Are you kidding? This is amazing. These girls really understand being in a cult.
Aya, Shemnagora!
I didn't sign up for this. Ah!
Cower before the black goats.
Ah! Dagon! It's okay, but be strong.
Aya, Shemnagora!
Oh, yes! I love this cult. Again!
What is wrong with you, Mike?
Subnagora!
What are you gonna do with us?
We're going to eat you.
Yeah! No! They do not mean in the good way. I'm not ready to die. Ouch! You got pepper in my eyes.
Let them go! What are you doing?
Here to save you! Yes, Untimey, you're my hero.
Repent! Repent!
I'm sorry, Father Dagon. I will never forsake you again.
You have to get out of here. Go! I don't need saving. This is the best part of my life. Oh, that was intense. That was the most intense worshiping ever. So much better than yoga.
What a bunch of dumbasses. But at least Ben has learned his lesson and will not stray from the fold of Father Dagon again. The fish fold.
That was way too much community. I think I've had enough now.
Fortunately, my fish was safe and sound.
Whoa. I've never had a nightmare like that.
What do you think it means?
I think someone's trying to mind control you.
Wait, you don't mean...
I do. That night at the graveyard. You said you saw the yellow sign.
You think the cult of the Yellow King is here?
Who's the Yellow King? And what's the yellow sign?
He is a king who even emperors worship, ruling from dark and lost Carcosa. The ultimate gift his cultists can give him is a city. And what city would be a brighter jewel in the crown of the Yellow King than our own great town?
His cultists mark their victims for mental torment with a yellow sign.
Oh!
Look! It's a yellow sign.
No. It's just a church flyer.
But it's yellow, and it's a sign.
You'll know when you see it.
Keep your eyes peeled. Their agents could be anywhere.
You want some cereal?
No.
How about some eggs instead?
No. No! Get that away from me!
One fish, two fish, red fish, yellow fish.
Hey man, can you toss that back? No, it's not. Backside. Backside. For the last 3 days, I've been tormented by the color yellow. Who knew there were so many yellow things in this world? Their cult has gotten into everything.
Mike is right. They are after us. So I've called an emergency cultist meeting to deal with the issue.
Where's Dave?
I don't know. I told him to be here.
Just gonna have to start without him. It's getting bad, guys.
Yeah, their cult is everywhere.
Where are they coming from? We were the cult of the Yellow King. Where would we meet?
There.
You two, stay here and stake out that bench. We need to know everything that happens there.
How do we do that?
I don't know, just be inconspicuous.
Where are you going?
To get Shane a can. We need backup.
It moved.
What's up, guys? Sorry I'm late. I haven't practiced kinda. Took a while.
All right. That was episode 5 and 6. So, episode 5, where they go out to meet the cult of Shub, that was actually the very first day we were out on set. That episode was shot all in one day, and it was the first time any of us had been out on set for the Cultists, and many of us the first time we'd been out on set at all, which included myself. I was the producer of the show, and I had never been on any kind of set at all, and so that was my first time on set, and we shot that entire episode from start to finish in one day, and it was our first time. And I remember being so happy at the end of that day, because it was stressful, because it was the first time we'd ever done it, and there were problems, there were potential mistakes that we were able to get over. We were able to get a really good show out of it. So it was stressful, but at the end of the day, I remember Brianna, because Brianna was staying with me. She's the director, and at the end of the day, we were so happy and we were so ecstatic, because we had gotten the show done, and we were like, okay, we're going to be able to do this. We're actually going to be able to shoot this show, and it was such a great feeling. That black goat people had mentioned, yes, I love that black goat. He's in my backyard right now, under my back deck. But there is a YouTube video about the making of the black goat on this channel, because actually it's funny, because everybody else in the art department had kind of thought the black goat, the idol of the black goat, would be about 6 inches tall or something like that. That's what they were thinking about as far as making a black goat. But I had seen that black goat statue at a hardware store months before this. And so when we were thinking about a statue of the black goat, an idol of the black goat for the cult of Shub, I was like, that's got to be it. So I drove about 45 minutes to a hardware store in order to pick that up. And then I brought that back. And then the whole art department was like, what is that? Because that is a heavy concrete statue. And originally we were going to put it up on something, but we just couldn't do it because it's way too heavy. I mean, it took a couple of people or more than a couple of people to get it out of my truck. And then we have to use a hand truck to wheel it out into the middle of the woods. That was on the very first day. And then we just had to leave it on the ground because there's no way we were putting it someplace. It was just way too huge and way too heavy. It was mentioned in the comments someplace that they had seen this with Film Threat and Chris Gore. And that's true. I did talk to Chris Gore about this because I was on the Film Threat podcast. I love Film Threat. I love what they are doing for independent productions like ours. And so I did talk to Chris Gore about this show, and I clipped that, and Chris Gore allowed me to put the clip here on my channel. So if you're looking on my channel here, there is a way to, there is a video where you can watch the clip where I was talking to Chris Gore about the Cultists. Actually, I believe it was season 2 that we're talking about, but also they reviewed on their website season 1 and season 2. And then I talked about the review of season 1 on this YouTube channel already. So those videos are here on the channel as well. Now, anybody here a True Detective fan? Does anybody like True Detective, especially season 1? I am a huge True Detective season 1 fan. I watched that quite a bit. And wait a minute, I'm a huge fan of that show. It's obviously a Lovecraftian kind of show, and I'm wondering if anybody has got the connection between the between True Detective and this show right here, because there is a connection between those shows in episode 6. Yes, episode 5 is the one where they encounter the Cult of Shub. Episode 6 is the one where they are doing the looking for the influence of the Cult of the Yellow King. So, yes, season 1 is great. I don't know if I should spoil it or not. I don't know if I want to spoil it, but we made a prop that was a extremely close replica of a prop in True Detective season 1, and you can see it in episode 6 of the Cultist season 1. And we thought that was a great homage, well, first of all, to that show, and then also to the at least the idea that the Cult of the Yellow King is already out there. I don't know, should I say it or should I not say it? Has anybody seen it? You may have seen it when you're watching the show just a few minutes ago. Did anybody notice the prop that was the Cultists or in the Cultists that was part of True Detective? Or people want to watch that again. I think I won't spoil it right now. I think I'll let people watch it again because I was very proud of that. So there is that the True Detective season 1 reference in episode 6 of season 1 of the Cultists. So I'll or maybe somebody will come up with it by the time we're back here after a couple of more episodes or something like that. You may have also seen another cameo in episode 6, the tennis player. That was Brennan. Now, Brennan is not often seen on camera, and that's because Brennan is our director of photography. So he is the one who is most all the time running the camera. But when you're watching the episode season 6, when you've got the tennis player, Brennan is actually our director of photography. And during that time, it was Dax, who ordinarily plays Rob, who was running the camera for that scene because Dax wanted some experience running the camera. We needed a tennis player, so Brennan decided to be the tennis player. So he, was that in episode 6, and then Dax was running the camera for that. So you don't often get to see Brennan on camera because he's often behind camera, although he is on General Geekdom. General Geekdom is our discussion panel show. We've shot 10 episodes of that. That's all here on the channel as well, and Brennan has been on that channel. On that show, but he's not often in the Cultist because he's shooting the show. So if you want to see the director of photography, check out the tennis player in episode 6. Sigian says, I haven't seen True Detective. Well, you absolutely should. It was fantastic. If you enjoy the Cthulhu mythos, and it's a great show. All right. Well, if you have other questions, let me know in the comments. I'm about to let us go for another couple of episodes. So let's go episodes 7 and 8 right now for the Cultists. Let's go.
Dave's band has been infiltrated by the Yellow King, but I can exorcise him. It won't be pretty, but it's for his own good.
I didn't know. I swear. Don't you think this is a little over the top? By the power of Father Dagon! Oh.
Hey, I brought... What are you doing?
I'm purging him of the influences of the Yellow King. I'm not with the Yellow King! I'm with you! I swear!
Better do a bit more, just to be safe.
No, wait! Oh, probably good now.
So, this is pretty serious, huh?
Very serious. Oh.
What happened at the bench?
Never moved.
Some people sat there,
Who? I don't know. We didn't pay attention to that.
but there were 4 dog humping incidents.
Yeah, we watched that.
So what is your plan? You don't have one, do you?
Not yet.
Well, there was the bench thing.
What are these?
Teriyaki chips.
Sea lettuce algae, sea salt, octopus powder. Little disciple, this is not a snack. These are the material components for summoning Cthulhu.
So, this is the plan. Summoning Cthulhu?
If we had Cthulhu on our side, the cult of the Yellow King wouldn't stand a chance.
You know how to summon Cthulhu with snack chips?
Well, yes, of course. As a leading member of the esoteric order of Dagon, I am very familiar with Cthulhu. Beneath the waves, Father Dagon and Mother Hydra lead all deep one kind into the worship of great Cthulhu.
Whoa, I didn't know that. When did you learn that?
It is learned after taking the second oath of Dagon. Very advanced and not for the faint of heart. Come, I will show you.
Can I get the...
I just don't think this is how Cthulhu works.
Disciple, I need you here.
Okay.
Wizard Priest, I need you there. And, Dave, right there. Yes. Bring forth the seasoned offering. Ho! Ho! Ha! Oh, ha! Shabada! 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 Oh.
I just don't want to say anything. Rob does not take criticism well. Maybe we should just see how this plays out.
Great Cthulhu! Cthulhu! The time has come! We summon you!
Shout louder! Maybe he's in deep thought.
Or on the toilet!
Or on a journey!
He's not on a journey!
Louder then! He must be awakened!
We're trying!
Nothing is happening.
Ben, we need more chips. Ben, where did you get those chips?
At the 7-Eleven.
I don't want to go to a dance club.
Guys, is this the best way to summon Cthulhu?
No. We don't need more snack chips. This won't work this way. I know what we need to do. Follow me.
You can't just summon Cthulhu out of nowhere. He has to really know you first. He has to know that you're one of his own. Cthulhu didn't appear to us because he doesn't know us. We worship Yog-Sothoth, Dagon, Azathoth. We have to show him that we're a part of his cult.
But how do we do that?
Gentlemen, I have had this book a very long time. Maybe it will help.
What is it?
It is the Encyclopedia Magica. It has a passage on the rituals associated with Cthulhu. Listen. The cultists of Great Cthulhu often worship him through depraved and orgiastic voodoo rituals, performed as an indescribably grotesque mass of naked human abnormality, braying, bellowing, and writhing in the moonlight.
That's what we should do.
We'd get to see each other naked.
Or you could keep your eyes closed.
Imagine worshipping Cthulhu with Sherry.
To do this, we are going to need a greenstone idol of Cthulhu.
Yes, Ben, you may speak.
I can make it. I majored in art for a semester.
Great. Ben, you're on idol duty.
Now we just have to find a place to worship.
I got this. Hey, Mom! Can I have a party tonight?
You want to have a party?
Yeah!
Like a football party?
Yeah! Pigskin. Exactly.
Yes, of course. Whatever you want.
Bingo! Hey. Oh, I missed you too. So we're worshiping Cthulhu tonight. You should come. I mean, if you want to come. But when I say come, I mean attend. So you'll be there? Great! What are you doing?
I'm in a cult now.
You wouldn't know the first thing about being in a cult.
Yes, I do. You dress up in fish clothes and say weird words. Yog socks mom party. Yog socks is the gate. See? Now I can come to your party.
No! You're not in a cult, and you're not coming to the party. Hey, Ben. Did you bring it?
Yep.
He's got a knife.
Yes, Cthulhu with a knife.
Ben, Cthulhu does not have a knife.
Why can't he have a knife?
Well, who would make it for him? Cthulhu's like 10 stories tall. His knife would be the size of a streetlight. Change it. Change it. I swear to God. I'm trying to worship here. I got Cthulhu with a knife. Oh my God, what are you wearing?
It's called going undercover, man.
Jeez, you scared me for a minute there.
Ah!
Sorry.
What is that?
Just something I like to use when I worship.
Well, hi, Dave. How nice of you to join us.
Dude,
I know. The band.
You've not been further compromised by the Yellow King, have you?
No, Cthulhu, no.
We're all here, right?
Almost.
Almost. Who else is coming?
Oh no. You invited her?
Yes. I just pretended like I was praying the rest of the time.
You want to hear a chili joke?
You can't joke
Funny.
about
They laughed,
Cthulhu.
but I was kind of nervous. I couldn't get up. They all got up. And
Probably heard it before anyway.
And I was like just laying there.
It is an old one.
It looks like
So, do you do a lot of man-lady Cthulhu worship?
I've done plenty in my day.
What about man, lady Cthulhu worship?
Yeah. From time to time.
I've done man, lady Cthulhu worship. Totally done that. Just without the lady.
Dude! Oh, wait. I've done that before. That's just by yourself.
All right. Remember to do a lot of bellowing, braying, and writhing.
Like this?
No. Like this.
That was very good.
No, I'll give you a reason to bellow and ride.
Please don't. No eating.
Okay, it's enough. Let's start the chant, okay? Bragging.
Time for downward fish, little disciple.
I am so excited that he is partying with his friends. I feel like he has finally turned a corner in his life. What are you wearing?
I'm in a cult now.
Just like in the woods.
Even better.
Thank you, Mama.
As I was saying, this is good. This is very good. I'm going to surprise him.
No one wants to touch your fish.
Mom! Whoa, I'm grounded for life now. But worth it.
All right. 2 more episodes of The Cultists down. I believe we have 2 more to go, episodes 9 and 10. But I've got some things to talk about for these 2 episodes, and also some things that have been in the chat here. So let's talk about, the exorcism. When we started off with that, the exorcism where, who is tied to the tree? That would be the band member, right? Dave. Dave is tied to the tree. That was actually a rather difficult thing to shoot for 2 reasons. First of all, it was extremely cold that day. It seemed like we were shooting this whole thing. I'm down here in rural Alabama, but most of the outside scenes seemed like every time we were outside, it was part of like the only time we actually have winter down here in Alabama. And so it was freezing or below freezing when we were trying to do that scene where we were going to throw all of the water onto Jester, who was playing Dave. And we rehearsed it a couple of different times without water in the bucket, just all the fish that would go out. And it wasn't working. And it wasn't working. And it wasn't working. Because there was some kind of mental block, I think, on Dax's part, who was playing Rob, about throwing all of this. And then we were running out of time because I think actually Jester had to go to something else. And so we're like, all right, we got 1 shot on this. So we tried, it wasn't working. Then I was like, all right, so then I filled up that bucket full of water at a spigot that was up by the pavilion. And then I brought it down. And I said, all right, we got 1 shot. Because, once you get Jester wet, we can't do another take because he's dry and then he gets wet. So, I mean, there's going to be 1 take of this. And so we did 1 take of it. Brianna said, all right, well, then let's go. That 1 take was what you see on the screen. And it went so well. Because just the camera was rolling. Dax got in the zone. He had the mental block, I guess, or something of throwing the water all over him. There's like, we got 1 shot, throw the water. That slap that occurs, I mean, that was like ad-libbed on the shot. That was just 1 take, and we got it, and it was so good. And then instantly we got, we said cut, and then we got all of the towels around Dave because it was so cold. Jester, because it was so cold. I didn't want him to be, wet for any amount of time than he had to be. And so we dried him off and then we moved on, and it worked so good. Yes, exactly. Jester had to go to band practice. That's exactly what was going on. I believe it was. And then I believe, oh my God, the goldfish is so perfect. I believe we're talking about the goldfish that are around the sister in this. And by the way, there are some after credit scenes that are on the show's like the individual shows that are here on my YouTube channel that are not in this mashup here. So there might be some additional information about what exactly happens to Bella, the sister, with her cult in after credit scenes that we're not actually seeing here. So you may have to go look for those on the channel. The teriyaki chips. That was not one of those things that was a joke that I had written down from a long time ago, because I had a friend on Facebook who had some type of teriyaki chips, and he was like, "What's going on with these teriyaki chips?" And he had like photographed the ingredients in the teriyaki chips, and he was like, "What is this? This looks like the ingredients for summoning Cthulhu." And I was like, "Oh my God, write that down." And so I found those teriyaki chips to become the ingredients for summoning Cthulhu. Now, also, Yabba Zabba Da. Somebody said this is their favorite scene. And yes, let me bring that up here. That the Yabba Zabba Da was something that was ad-libbed because there was just supposed to be some kind of chant. But Yabba Zabba Da has been so good. Let me see if I'm coming over here to Ritual the board game. This is on GameFound. Please look it up. Oh, yeah, right here. Excuse me. You've got fail and you've got Yabba Zabba Da. But Yabba Zabba Da, even though it was something that was ad-libbed, was something that has just become so immortalized and is a part of what is going on with the cultists that Yabba Zabba Da actually shows up in the Ritual board game, because success means, or Yabba Zabba Da means success, because they did a great job with that. So that was ad-libbed, but I just have to immortalize it as far as the game goes. And then who is this? Remant says, "I love Bella." And yes, and you know, Bella was actually one of the characters who we had struck from the show, because we have this young character, and of course, a minor on set. That's a big deal. So as it turns out, the only minor that we had on set ended up being Bella, because we had cut all of the Bella scenes, because we were like, oh my God, having a minor on set and all the paperwork that you have to fill out and all of that, it's just way too much. But when we were going to the auditions, we decided, well, if we're going to do auditions, we might as well go ahead and audition Bella. So we had the sides put together for Bella, and then we had this just phenomenal actress come together for Bella. And when she auditioned, she was Bella, and we said, we're going to have to put Bella back in the show. And so we put Bella back in the show because she was so amazing, and so rewrote her in the show. Same way with Dad, actually, as well. We had Dad in the show, but we had cut Dad out, because you're always trying to look for some way to, you know, save budget or save money. So we'd cut Dad out. But then David Orange showed up to audition for the role of Dad, and we're like, okay, we got to put Dad back in there. And we're so glad, because Dad plays an important part in season 2. But yes, you know, those were because the auditions were so great. We put them back in. We put in Bella and we put in Dad. 7-Eleven being a dance club, you know, sometimes you don't know what a 7-Eleven is. You know, what do you do if you've never had a 7-Eleven around you? You end up going to a 7-Eleven. You might as well wear really nice clothes because you think it's a dance club. That's what I thought was the case when I lived in Florida. I'm from Alabama, moved down to Florida. There was a 7-Eleven. Turns out 7-Eleven's not a dance club. Turns out it's a convenience store. So I just wrote that joke into the cultists because, you know, something happened to me. The Encyclopedia Magica. Okay, so when Acantha is reading from the Encyclopedia Magica, I created the Encyclopedia Magica for the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows. So, and what she reads out is text that I wrote for the serious part of Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, because the Encyclopedia Magica is actually a serious part of the lore. So you can find that on the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows YouTube channel. Again, I'm not running that YouTube channel. It's just got the material that I wrote on there. So I wrote the Encyclopedia Magica as a very serious Cthulhu mythos item, and I wrote passages of the encyclopedia. All of that is on the channel. But then you hear Acantha reference the Encyclopedia Magica and then also read actual serious parts of that, even though this is a comedy. So that's where that comes from. Let's see here. Let's see. We got a comment here. I think both Bella and Dad ended up being very important parts of the show. I love them both. Yes. So absolutely. I think both Bella and Dad are very important parts of the show. And especially in season 2. And if we get to a season 3, where we want to go with season 3. And so I'm very glad that they are there. I hope we were able to do a season 3. And I think that both of them it's a very kind of happy accident in a sense that the auditions went so well for them that we're like, we've got to write them back into the show. So that was a great part of that. We were talking about 10-story tall Cthulhu and Cthulhu with a knife. That was also something that came up because there was some kind of Kickstarter that went on with a miniature that had Cthulhu with a knife. And my business partner, when I was with Infinite Black, I'm not with Infinite Black anymore, but when I was with Infinite Black, my business partner was David LaRocca, and he was a cosmic horror artist. He was big into the Cthulhu mythos. He's the guy who introduced me to the Cthulhu mythos. And there was some type of Kickstarter that was going on where Cthulhu had a knife, and it really bothered him. And so Cthulhu with a knife, I was like, yeah, that's something that I should write in here. So the idea of having Cthulhu with a knife, that was something that was born out of some Kickstarter where the miniature Cthulhu had a knife or something like that. And my business partner had a problem with that. The general hubbub that was going on was a hilarious part of this because we shot several minutes, like, 7, 8, 9 minutes. There's a decent amount of footage out there where there was a general hubbub prior to the orgy scene, in that room prior to the orgy scene, where everybody was just ad-libbing things about their characters. And so if you're listening to that part, if you're listening to that, there is a lot of things that are going on that weren't scripted. Those things were just things that the actors rather, ad-libbed about their characters. And there was a lot more than that because we wanted to be able to overlay actual conversation onto a bunch of the dialogue that was going on there. And so if you listen to what's going on prior to the orgy scene where everybody else is talking, like especially off screen, there's a lot that's pretty funny there. The orgy scene, that was so much fun to shoot. That was so much fun to shoot. I remember that night that was an Airbnb. Everybody was there. Of course, I'm like in the corner. When you're watching that scene, being shot, not only are the actors all in there, and it was a rather tight kind of room, but of course, Brennan's there with his camera. I'm there. I think I was running the slate because I was the producer. I was running the slate. Then also Brianna is there as well as the director, trying to direct all of that. Man, that was a fun show. Because we're like, we don't really know all these people, like we do now. We're like, all right, we're gonna be shooting this orgy scene, but don't worry, don't do anything you're uncomfortable with or anything like that. It was a lot of fun. I think that's one of my favorite episodes. All right, we're gonna do episode 9. Should I do episode 9 and then pause and then go to episode 10? I might want to do that. I think we'll do episode 9. I'll do a brief pause, come back, and then episode 10 will be the last episode of season 1. Then season 2, episode 1 will air next week. So I tell you what, let's do episode 9 right now. Let's go.
We have to become so devoted to Cthulhu that when we summon him again, he will not be able to help but hear our call. Then we'll be able to run the cultists of the Yellow King out of town. Okay, let's brainstorm. How can we get Cthulhu's attention in a big way? Yes, Ben.
Maybe we just send him a very nice dinner invitation, like with his name on it and everything.
Ben, Cthulhu does not respond to dinner invitations.
Why not? Has anyone ever tried?
Who would mail it to him? Do you have his address in Relier?
He's sleeping. How would he read it?
Well, just write it down anyway.
No, we do not need to write it down.
Please?
Okay. Dinner invitation. What else we got?
Shouting?
We tried that already.
Write it down?
Okay. Shouting.
Foghorn.
Yes. That is louder than shouting.
Blowing the foghorn with a searchlight right over Rillier.
Like a Cthulhu bat signal.
But then we'd have to go all the way to the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah,
that's right.
Acantha, is there anything else in that book there?
Let me see. There's this. Those most dedicated to Cthulhu's nihilistic cult will sear the brand of his dragonesque and cephalopodic visage into their flesh. Often in a ceremony on the moonless night of the Lunar New Year, and witnessed by the gods' wizard priests who smeared themselves with the blood of their sacrificial victims. Of special significance in this ceremony is the chaotic rhythm beaten on drums of human skin by feral drummers, who are wholly given to whatever barbaric and animalistic impulses are buried in the recesses of all human minds.
That's it. That's what we need to do. Burn his brand into our flesh.
No, don't write that. Don't worry, Ben. You don't have to get branded if you don't want to. If you're not fully devoted, you can be the drum.
Okay, Cantha. Can you read that passage and make sure we have everything?
Those most dedicated to Cthulhu's nihilistic cult
That's me.
will sear the brand of his dragonesque and cephalopodic visage into their flesh,
Got the brand right here.
often in a ceremony on the moonless night of the Lunar New Year.
My mom won't let me out at night anymore. So we'll just have to be extra dedicated. I'm gonna heat the brand extra hot.
And witnessed by the gods' wizard priests who smear themselves with the blood of their sacrificial victims.
Sacrificial victims.
Where's that Care Bear, Mike?
No Care Bear this time. This time we got a rotisserie chicken.
What about the blood?
We'll cover it in barbecue sauce first.
Oh, yeah. Cthulhu will never notice.
We might get hungry later.
I don't know, guys. This may not work either.
We can't stop now. We're already in far too deep.
Right. Okay. Of special significance in this ceremony is the chaotic rhythm beaten on drums of human skin.
That's you, Ben. Ben?
No.
Five feral drummers who are wholly given to whatever barbaric and animalistic impulses are buried in the recesses of all human minds.
Oh, feral drummer. That's me. I love playing the drums. And I'm totally given to animalism. Take off your toga, Ben.
In his house in Relie, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming. Great Cthulhu, I pledge myself to you. Cthulhu Fatagan.
All right, that was episode 9. So we are getting very close to the end here. So the scene where the branding is actually taking place, that was again in my backyard, just, beyond these couple of walls back here. So that was in my backyard, and that was actually one of the things that my neighbors actually called me out on, because we were talking about people here in rural Alabama not understanding. Well, after I had shot that scene where we had the witches out in their witches hats and everything like that, and the people in their cult robes and everything like that, my neighbor did show up. My across the street neighbor did show up like a day after that and wanted to talk to me and was like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing over here? And I was trying to explain to him that we were shooting a show and we're doing YouTube and all of that. I don't really think that he understood. Now, since then, he's become a rather good friend of mine. But as far as you're talking about trying to shoot something like that in the middle of rural Alabama, your neighbors may not understand. So, all right. All right. So that was what was going on there. So what do I have in the comments? Do I have any kind of interesting comments that we should talk about? yeah, the idea of the foghorn and also the Cthulhu bat signal was a fantastic part of that. Of course, all of those two scenes where they were sitting there from, I believe, that episode and the episode before were all shot at one time because we shot. You don't shoot all of this in linear sequence. That was something that Brianna did. Brianna, being the director, was also in charge of scheduling. So she scheduled all this out. So if we had that Airbnb house, we had to do all of the scenes that had to do with that house at that time. Let's see here. M85 Studios. Hey, Heath. If there's a season 2 coming, you need help, I'm willing to lend a hand. I live in Birmingham. Really? Okay. Well, season 2 is already shot. Season 2 is going to come out next Friday. Season 2, episode 1, next Friday, 7:30 p.m. What's going to happen is I'm thinking that we need to do a premiere because I've got the episode itself that will premiere at 7:30 p.m. And then I'm going to have another live stream that comes on basically as soon as it closes. Each episode is about 6 minutes long. Season 2 is about an hour long in total. So each episode's about 6 minutes long, give or take. I mean, this is kind of an estimate. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a premiere here on YouTube of just the show. And then as soon as that premiere ends, essentially, I'm thinking about going live for an after party where we can talk about it and we can talk about all kinds of different things like that. So season 2 is already shot. I am hoping that we can get enough interest in all of this to be able to do season 3. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm showing people here. Let me see if I can go over here to give people some Remus sees so maybe season 3. So if we can do season 3, I want to do season 3 in the spring. We're about to get into the winter. I don't want to shoot a show over the winter. If we are able to do season 3, the time to do it will be in the spring. So Reman says, my neighbors have gotten used to my backyard activities, and happily they are nice Levan Satanists who bring me tasty cakes and stuff. Oh, well, I suppose if you're doing things like this, and especially the kinds of things I'm doing, those would be good neighbors to have. I don't have those kinds of neighbors. M85 says, nice. I'm looking forward to it. Great. Thank you. So Remat says, how many days does it take to film the entire season? That is a great question. And it's basically 14. It takes 14 days of shooting to shoot the entire season. We shot season 1 in 14 days, and we shot season 2 in 14 days. So if you're asking, why does it take so much, money or effort and time and things like that to be able to shoot an entire show like this? Well, it's because it takes about 14 days of shooting in order to produce an entire season. And when you're talking about 14 days of shooting, I was really an important part of this to me was that I didn't want people to not have money, if they did this. I paid everyone who was part of this because I didn't want people to just be volunteering their time or anything like that. So, Brennan, who is, the director of photography and also renting all of his camera equipment. And in season 2, of course, he upgraded that. So we've got additional sound equipment and all of that. Of course, I rented that from him. All of the actors and actresses got paid. So if you're wondering, if you're watching The Cultists, are you watching something about people who are just volunteering their time or something like that? You're not. I made sure that I paid everyone who was on set every day for their time. And I think that's really important. I think it's really important for 2 reasons. One reason is because when you pay people, you're sure that they show up. That's a really important thing because I didn't want to say, hey, everybody volunteer. And then, somebody's like, oh, I have something else going on today. I can't actually show up because that's a problem. If you brought all the camera equipment, you brought everybody, and then one person's like, no, I can't be there. That completely screws you over. So I was like, listen, everybody's going to sign a contract. Everybody's going to get paid for the time they're on set and make sure you're there. And that was a major important part of that. But on the other hand, when you're talking about making sure that everyone is paid for 2 weeks, that's a major financial part of this. And that's why I'm trying to raise the money to shoot season 3 through Ritual and that board game. So in season 1, I know that we had one day that got so cold we had to call off, and we had to call it off and reschedule. And actually, I think that in season 2 we had one day that was so rainy, it was pouring down rain, we had to reschedule. But so it's actually more than 14 days worth of calendar time, but it's 14 days worth of shooting time. Are you able to give a ballpark figure for the budget of a complete season? I don't have a problem with giving a ballpark budget for the complete season, but I don't have it right now. Like, if we're talking about, but let me just show you how to ballpark it. Like, if you have got 3 people on set and you're going to pay them a couple of $100 a day, like, because you just pay them a day rate. You're not worried about hourly rate. You say, here, I'm going to be there for a day. And that day could be 8 hours, and I'm hoping that we get all done in 8 hours. But otherwise, it might be 10 hours if, it stretches and we didn't get something done and we have to go to 10 hours. So we're just talking about a day rate here. If you say, let's go $200 for a day rate, and how many people are on set, you could look at all of the different shots for the Cultists and say, like, how many people were actually there on set? Is it 5? Is it 6? Like, when you look at the orgy scene, that's a lot of people who are there. And if you're looking at $200 times all of those people, plus the people who you are not seeing because they are behind the scenes. I didn't take a salary for the Cultists because I was the producer. So we saved money there. But I was there. But then the director is also there. The director of photography is also there. And then at least one other person is there. And probably 2 other people are there who are part of the not the cast, part of the crew, because we also have to provide lunch, so there are 2 other crew members in order to do like things like audio and also set up the lights and things like that. So there are other people who you're not seeing who are there. We also fed everybody. I didn't want people to leave the set anytime during that day because like you're there. So lunch is brought in. Occasionally, like I've talked about, pizza was brought in, but pizza was actually rather rare. We only did that a couple of times in each show. We had people who actually cooked on set. So you're also talking about cooks. You're talking about all the food prep that's going on there. And so you're talking about that for 14 days to shoot the show. And that's not including pre-processing, but all of the stuff that happens before you actually start shooting, all of the making the costumes, all of the making the props. Like we did a lot of that down in my workshop here. So there's costuming, there's prop making, there's all the scheduling. So there's many days that goes into scheduling those 2 weeks, and then after that, well, you've got all of the editors who have to make all of this happen. And there are at least 3 people who are involved with editing: a major editor, the editor, an assistant editor, the director is involved in that. And then I, as the producer, am also involved in that. So yes. So Reman says, gotcha, thanks. Yeah. So that's basically the information that I've got there. But when people are talking about web shows like that, and that's when we're talking about that, well, YouTube is not really set up to be able to do a web show like this. So if you like web shows like this, it takes word of mouth and things like that, because, YouTube itself is really set up to be able to do day by day shows. You need to be live 2 or 3 times a day or something like that. And that's not the kind of thing that you can do if you're actually trying to produce something like a scripted show like this. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and go to episode 10, the final episode of the first season, and that'll lead right into the premiere of season 2 next week. So let's go to episode 10. Let's go.
Dude. When my time comes, I'm thinking I might just do the temporary tattoo of Cthulhu.
I've never done anything this intense. I feel truly aligned with the Deep Ones in this moment. I know I'll make them proud.
Wizardly Priest, Ladies of Azathoth, save, begin. Sacrificial victim. Ceremonial dagger. This is rubber. That's all I could get.
Mom won't let me near a real knife anymore.
Whatever. Spell components. Spell components.
Sorry I'm late. A large man was ridiculing me at the 7-Eleven.
What? Why? Never mind, Mike. Dedication, Ben. Dedication. Your mind and your body belong to the cult.
Right.
Do you have the chips?
Yes.
Ritual music. Funglui, Mgualnath, Cthulhu Rilye, Wagaf Nagel Fatagan.
Yeah. Cthulhu Fatagan.
Cthulhu Rilye Fatagan. Cthulhu Rilye Fatagan.
Yeah.
Cthulhu Rilye Fatagan. Where's Cthulhu?
He should be here by now.
If he did just wake up, he's probably just getting a cup of coffee.
What are these? What are these?
It's the chips.
These are the wrong tips! You idiot!
They were on teriyaki, I swear! I didn't think it would matter!
Of course it matters! You can't summon Cthulhu with sour cream and onion! I'm gonna get you!
This is all my fault. If it weren't for me, Cthulhu would be here right now. I can't do anything, right?
Perhaps the stars just were not right for Cthulhu.
Ben.
I know what I have to do.
Are you okay?
We didn't sacrifice enough. I didn't sacrifice enough.
What are you gonna do?
I offer myself to great Cthulhu.
Oh, yes! Yes, my disciple!
No, you can't.
It's the only way.
Yeah, sure, but sacrificing yourself, doesn't that seem a little extreme?
Music. Music! The flutes of Azathoth.
Ben. That's not a flute. That's just a recorder. You can't sacrifice yourself to recorder music.
Yes, I can. And I will. Yeah!
It's a rubber knife, Ben.
Yeah. Mom won't let me have a real knife. She thinks we're gonna hurt ourselves.
We're not gonna hurt ourselves.
You just tried to cut your heart out.
That was on purpose, though. I can't even sacrifice myself right.
Maybe that's a good thing.
I don't think I'm cut out to be a cultist.
No. Don't say that. You're a great cultist. More than that. You are an amazing cultist.
Really?
You can always try again tomorrow.
Dude. When you were about to sacrifice yourself, that was real, man.
Yeah. Might have been a fake knife, but it was still the greatest thing you've ever done.
was pretty great. My proudest moment.
Any cult leader would be proud to have you as their disciple.
Okay.
I have stopped asking him what he does with his cult friends. At this point, I would rather not know. You have to pick your battles. What matters to me is that he does his chores and turns his homework in on time, and lately he has been much better at both, so all things considered, I am pretty happy.
How about a blessing? O great Cthulhu, we thank you for your many blessings upon this house and upon the whole world. We pray that you would lift up our friends and crush our enemies.
And please bless this food and hand to those who prepared it.
Amen.
Oh, I got more salt.
Oh, thank you, honey. That's good.
I vacuumed it off the floor after my ritual.
Mike.
We should probably listen to the music. This is Death Disguise music.
Where the cultists.
So there we go. I do have something else to show you. Don't go away yet. Something no one has ever seen before and has not been on YouTube yet. So hang on just 1 second. So yes, that is the Cultist Season 1. I hope that you have loved it. You know, you're talking about, I have never noticed how similar Three Blind Mice is to Hot Crossed Buns before, educational. Yeah, it's Hot Crossed Buns. It's Hot Crossed Buns that Acantha is playing on her recorder. You know, the brand of Cthulhu, of course, if you look up on the Journey to Tree of Sorrows Cthulhu, the Journey to Tree of Sorrows YouTube channel, I wrote very serious lore about the brand of Cthulhu on that channel that you can hear professionally read and so forth. But then we have the brand of Cthulhu that was designed by David LaRocca, and he is the cosmic horror artist. But I was like, we need the brand of Cthulhu to be on Rob in this episode because he's been branded. And so I was talking to someone who does the special effects makeup and things like that. And so she came up with that brand of Cthulhu, which looks not like exactly the brand of Cthulhu if you're on the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows YouTube channel, because, it makes sense that, these guys are trying to create the brand of Cthulhu in a really kind of janky way, or ended up doing it in a kind of janky way. And so we did a test on me at the library one day, and I'm going to put that up as a YouTube video here on my channel when we were doing a practice run of the makeup for the brand of Cthulhu. We did it on me a couple of times in order to figure out what we're going to do. And I remember we had to get out here really early one morning in order to do that, because we had to get Dax made up in order to get out to the park in order to shoot that entire show. So the brand of Cthulhu was kind of a big thing. And then, yes, Remat says, I love the theme music. And we really wanted to do like a music video or something like that, but we weren't quite able to do that. We want to do a music video of the Cultists. Maybe we'll be able to do that for season 3 or something like that. This is great. Thank you. This was great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your being here. Thank you for doing this. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that you're being here. So one of the things that I was going to show that I have not shown anyone yet is one of the trailers for season 2, because of course the D&D trailer, what I'm calling the D&D trailer, is already up on my channel. You can watch that already, but I'm not going to release this trailer for another week. So you're the first people who are able to see it. This is the trailer for season 2 that no one has seen yet. So I'm going to play that right now for everybody. Let me take myself down and put
In his house in Rillier, Dead Cthulhu waits streaming.
You ever played D&D before?
No. What kind of character do you play?
I play a cultist.
But you are a cultist. I'm growing gills. Gills! My transformation into a deep one has finally begun. Father Dagon be praised.
Rob, we don't see any gills.
the coffee drinking cultists who meet under the pavilion. I can bring them to you.
Did you not bring them to me within 3 days? Then you're back on the menu. Got it?
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
It's the cultists of the Yellow King.
We're being infiltrated. I need a spell to kill Steve.
That escalated.
Kill, kill, kill!
They'll fall fast asleep, and I'll take them to the cult of Shub.
Were you trying to slip us a Mickey? As soon as I learn this spell, you are done for.
It's like Twilight, but with a fish.
All right, so that is the trailer for season 2. So what I'm thinking is going to happen for season 2 is that every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, we'll do like a premiere where we watch that episode that comes out. So there are 10 episodes in season 2. So we'll watch each episode. But then immediately after the episode, I'm thinking, if everybody wants to do that and they think it would be fun, is to do like a live after party after that. And if I can get some of the different actors and the directors and other cast and crew members, the cultists, on the show afterwards, I think that would be a great thing for them to be on the after party. We could do some giveaways, because we are doing a giveaway actually next Friday of the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Actually, I'm not sure if I brought that up, but if you are here, I've got Call of Cthulhu role-playing books right here that I'm going to be giving away next Friday. You got to be present to win on the YouTube live stream. But then after season 2, episode 1, I'm going to give away all of the books for the cultists for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. And there are other things I can give away as well. So I'm thinking that might be something that we could do, every Friday night, if people are interested in it, people like it. We got Steve is awesome. I kept looking for him under the bridge and forgot he's mostly featured in season 2. Yes, I played Steve. So Steve was briefly featured, and I believe that was episode 3 of season 1. But then Steve becomes a more major player in season 2, and I played him, and I was so glad that I did. Actually, as one of the things, I almost gave it away, because actually producing the show, writing and producing the show is a big deal. And so I thought, I don't think that I can write and produce the show and play Steve as well. But actually, the other people who were part of the show, the other actors, and were like, wait, what are you doing? You've got to play Steve. And so I actually took on the role of Steve for season 2. And I was so glad that I did. It's so much fun. I had such a great time playing Steve. And so that's featured in season 2. I continue the character into season 2. Great trailer. Thank you. It's amazing. We need a lot more people to be watching the Cultists. If you know people who might be interested in this, please share these links and things like that, because I think that web shows like this can still have a future. It's difficult because we talked about all the different things that have to do with YouTube and the algorithm and things like that. But if people are interested in these things and they share them, man, I think that we could do some amazing things. So I really want to do the Cultist season 3, and then I really want to be able to continue into things that I was talking about with the Tales of Ravivania and also the Fall of Lucifer and things like that. There's so much stuff that's to go forward. I would love to have everyone with us. So if you are interested in this and other people are interested, please share this with other people. So sounds fun. Thank you, Sijian. Thank you so much. So is there anything else you want to know? Like, I don't know, where should I go from here? That was the whole show. That was the trailer. Do I have a Twitter page for the Cultists? I don't specifically have a Twitter page for the Cultists. I do have Twitter for myself. Let me see if I can bring that up. I haven't been posting there recently as much as I probably should. I've been really focused on YouTube. I've been focused on trying to make a lot of YouTube. But my Twitter is there. I just posted that in the chat. So, excuse me. E. Heath Robinson is my personal Twitter. So that it's not a cultist Twitter. It's just my Twitter. But really, the major thing that I have been trying to promote is this YouTube channel right now. So if you have been enjoying this, sending people to this YouTube channel is the place to go. I really hope that we can get enough people who are interested in this season 1 and season 2 who will come out on GameFound for Ritual, and that we will be able to shoot season 3 in the spring. That would be a huge part of this, and then we can go on from there. All right. Anything else? Any other questions that everyone has? Let me make sure that I've addressed everything that I've got here in my notes. I suppose I should. Sijian says, we'll share the channel with friends. Thank you. And also didn't know about the Twitter, just followed your page. Yep, that's my Twitter. I have not been on Twitter as much lately because it seems like when I go on Twitter, I end up feeling not so great. Right? It seems like a negative place. That's just me. So I do tweet when I have someone on the show or on the YouTube channel, and I tweet about it. But mainly what I've been trying to do is just stay focused on this YouTube channel and grow it, not only for the show, but also for all of the products that we're creating. So I really like, if you've enjoyed this, please go back to my YouTube channel and take a look at not only the Cultists, but Dinner and a Board Game that we've been shooting. We have upgraded a whole bunch of board games on the show. I've got a show called Table Talk, which is where I talk with one other person as one-on-one in the fantasy genre, sometimes the tabletop. We talk about board games. We also talk about the fantasy genre in general. And then also General Geekdom. That is our panel show, which is here on this channel, where we talk about different things, where I try to get together a panel of people to talk about some aspect of sci-fi, fantasy, or the whole general. So thank you so much. We'll share the channel with friends. If there's nothing else, I think it's about time to wrap this up. I've had a fantastic time with this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing people on the YouTube channel over the next week. But then also, it looks like the next time we'll be live is next Friday. We'll go live after season 2, episode 1. So what do you think? Sound good to everybody? I hope so. Good night, everybody, and enjoy. See you next week.